Michelle, how you doing today?
Hi, Dave. Great. How are you?
Doing great. Looking forward to San Benito County here and hearing from you. We're in August, looking at July, so let's see what you got.
You hesitated, right? Because it's weird that we're in August and we're looking at July data already. I
It is.
know it is, right? So anyway, yeah, it's been a really pretty exciting summer. I mean, the three things we're going to try and cover is we're going to talk about prices. Couldn't not do that. Oh my gosh, I'll get this eventually. But we're going to change it up a little bit. We've been hearing about the summer sales cycle and what's going on. So we're going to look at closed sales, which I think will be good. And then also just the competitiveness, right? So the Bay Area competitiveness 2021, it's been kind of the thing. So we'll take a look at sale to list price ratios. So let's get started. Median sale price. Yeah, I mean, second straight month of decline, right? That was an all-time high in May. So another decrease. It's 2% decrease from June to July. But, I always remind people 17% increase year over year. And, last July, I mean, it was, pretty high in terms of the recovery, right? We started recovering in terms of the pandemic. And so, if you draw a straight line, there's still been a pretty substantial price appreciation. But yeah, for your buyers, a little bit of a decline there at the county level. The interesting part is if you look year over year, and I only do this for San Benito, right? Because it's kind of interesting in terms of don't have as much data. So I like to bring in as much relative information as possible. So this is year over year. This is just this July compared to a year ago. And look at that. So right, substantially over where we were a year ago across the board. Trespinos even had some sales last year. But I mean, then when you look month over month, as I switch into that, see, this is where you see it. So San Juan Bautista was up pretty big, 2 sales. We'll talk about that in a second. Volatile, that's what happens when you have few sales. So it's really Hollister that drives it. We saw it relatively stay unchanged. So for the majority of the county, right, it actually wasn't so much of a decline, just kind of in that more volatile San Juan Bautista market. So keep that in mind too. But on the common interest, you're like ready to celebrate, but there was only 2 sales. So keep that in mind as well. I mean, I cover it because, hey, that could be a big market. They're building out there. I mean, this could be helpful. There's new builds out there, people heading out that direction. And so this is good to keep in mind. So 555, 400, that's an all-time high, so 8% increase from June to July. Again, 2 sales, but 47% increase from a year ago. So there are lots, if you have a common interest property in San Benito, it's a good time there. Here you see just the numbers, right? So it's only for Hollister where they were. Last July, there were 5 sales, just in case you were wondering. So we usually see 2 or 3. So normal in terms of volume. And speaking of volume, right, closed sales, the number of closed sales. So it did decrease. That's 15% decrease from June to July. It's a 15% decrease year over year too. But remember, July last year was the beginning of the recovery, right? So coming out of kind of the first part of COVID and everything kind of started opening up a little again. And so that's why that July number is that big spike at 75. So definitely didn't look year over year good. But that's kind of normally what we see. If you look month over month, also a little bit of a decline in Hollister, about 17%. So, I mean, we talked about closed sales a little bit already, but, this is the time of year you might start to see the sales cycle decline. We talked to our partner economist, Dr. Elliot Eisenberg. He, said a while back that he thought we'd return to kind of the normal cycle. So yeah, it'd be pretty normal to see closed sales, new listings, transactions start to back down a little bit towards the end of the summer here, or well, I guess July data in the middle of the summer. But yeah, pretty typical, maybe a bit later than usual. But, we'll need more time to really know what this means, but it could be that beginning of the trend. Certainly, we saw it in the common interest market going from 4 to 2. I mean, I think the best thing to do would be to keep your eye on those weeklies, right? So Aculist Weekly, it's on the Pro homepage every Tuesday. Well, it's always available, but it's new every Tuesday. And it's a great way to keep on track because there's been a lot of volatility in the last 3 years. Look at that. By week, you can see how things change. But, if you normalize that, if you kind of look at it as kind of a longer term trend, you can see here like kind of on target, right, in terms of that, what happens in San Benito County. So a great way to keep on top of that, both closed sales and new listings for your clients for sure. So now the last piece, sale to list price ratio competitiveness. So that has been a pretty steep decline, right? 2% in the past 2 months, second month of decline. But remember, May 2021, 104 was an all-time high, right? So that was a big deal just look at the left side of the graph, and 102 is still very strong, especially with a little bit of a decrease on the price there. So still very competitive in San Benito County. You can see here with both San Juan Bautista and Hollister, over 100%, staying over 100%. I mean, 103% of ask in Hollister says a little bit of a break for buyers, a little break on that price, but holding steady on that sale to list price ratio. We're seeing this all over, right? The neighboring counties and stuff, that sale to list price ratio is still pretty high, meaning even if the prices are starting to decline a little bit in certain markets, then, there's still a lot of competition, a lot of offers and things. So anywho, this is the last slide, sale to list price ratio for the county. Those two properties were in high demand, right? So 104% backing down. Last month was a lot of sales, so that 105% was a little bit of a truer number. But hey, still competition in San Benito County. We'll see what happens next month. I don't know. I mean, it's really interesting. Is the sales cycle extending? Will that have an impact on prices? We'll be back next month to talk about it for sure. So we'll be back in September to talk about August.
Thanks again, Michelle. Looking forward to seeing what September has for you.
Make sure to check out our pro support page for additional videos on a full range of topics. And don't forget to click that subscribe button on our MLS Listings YouTube page.